Hello there, welcome back to Dis-Cember. My brain's not working right for a second. Let's try that again. Hello there, welcome back to Dis-Cember. I'm Scotty, you're not. Today we're checking out an old favorite of mine from the Disney Channel, and it was the start of 3 movies in a row, a trilogy that is not really connected, of movies based on Disney Channel TV shows. Yes, and I'm starting with trilogy because I made this schedule so many times. Look how scratched out it is. Look at it. I just took off 4 movies, so there might be a 4th one. I don't know yet, but we're starting with this one, the Even Stevens movie. Now, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to explain to you what Even Stevens is. I did a video on the Disney Channel a few years ago, and it was hard to explain. What it is it's at its core, it's a sitcom, though I've always said if there's no laugh track and it's not multi-camera, it doesn't count. I've gotten arguments with people who say that. To me, then what you call other shows? Comedy series. It's a comedy series. Sitcoms, I mean, there's still situations, but to me, I know sitcom stands for situation comedy. But to me, to be a sitcom, four cameras or multiple cameras and a live audience or a laugh track. But I can see how some people like, oh, The Office is the greatest sitcom ever. It's a great comedy series, not a sitcom. Especially those ones that are in the format of where it's like a documentary like that or Parks and Rec. No way those can be counted as sitcoms. I'm sorry. No. But this, we have the Even Stevens family. The Stevens family. We have Dad, Steve Stevens. Yes, that is his name, played by Tom Virtue. The mom, Irene Stevens, I think that's her name, played by Donna Pescow. Oldest child, Donnie Stevens, played by Nick Spano. And then the middle child, Ren Stevens, played by Christy Carlson Romano. And the youngest, played by Shia LaBeouf. So, yes, and it's basically the antics of Ren's trying to be the good child, and then you have Lewis is the troublemaker, and Donnie's the idiot. And somewhere around season 2, they introduced the character of Beans, Aaron Guerin, played by Anthony Stephen Quinn. I think Stephen Anthony Quinn. Hold on. I know you're probably going, don't you mean Tyler Quinn, who was on Boy Meets World? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know, but is it Stephen Anthony Williams? I'm thinking of Gary Anthony Williams. It's one of those 3 named shit, right? It's still on Smart House. So this was one of those things that Disney did, is they would end their shows with a movie. I think this was the end of the show, right? Serving as the series finale. Yeah. Stephen Anthony Lawrence. I was close. Stephen Anthony Lawrence. Bernard Beans, Aaron Guerin. Yes. Other side characters include Alan Twitty, played by AJ Troth, who I talked about in You Wish, like a couple years ago, whatever it was. Lewis's best friend, and Margot Hartman is Tawny, who is also one of Lewis's friends, but he has a crush on her, you know? And you have Fred Myers as Tom Grabowski, the Avenonian friend for Lewis. He even says in the movie, Lewis is my friend when it suits him. Right? And then there's Lauren Frost as Ren's best friend, Ruby. And then there's this black girl I forgot was a thing, named Monique, apparently. I remember they had another friend named Nelson. I don't know if his character was written off at some point. I don't know. And then there's Larry Beale, a rival to Ren, played by Eric Ty Hodges II. Though on here, the second is gone. But the story is that a supposed travel agent named Miles McDermott, played by Timmy Meadows, comes and talks to the Stevens gang to go on a trip to the tropical island of Mendolino because they're trying to get tourism on the island. And then, of course, when they get there, thanks to Lewis, things go down the shitter. And all hell breaks loose. So, yeah. So, the beginning of this movie, okay, it had me scratching my head because I've seen this plenty of times. And I'm watching this, and it's a graduation ceremony. But I'm paying attention this time. It's like it's a junior high. Junior high. This is a junior high graduation ceremony. What middle school has a graduation ceremony like this? And what's more, is you're looking at these supposed 14-year-old students and you're going, no. Something. Did you look? Christy Carlson Romano is delivering her speech, right? Ren is delivering her speech, and you're watching. You're supposed to be graduating middle school here. It's something else we're going to talk about in the Lizzie McGuire movie, because that's another. I'm like, she looks too old to be just graduating middle school. So I looked it up. Yeah, she was 19 here, graduating middle school. No, it doesn't work once you know that. I'm sorry. And the only thing she keeps talking about, besides what she wrote to boyfriend, is like, oh, I'm going to go to high school next year. I'm like, you should already have graduated from high school. You're 19. I get getting older actors to play, but you see, 2003, I was 15, and I didn't look as, 2003, I was my sophomore year, right? It was my sophomore year of high school. So I was 16 then. I was 16. So, yeah, I was 16. And she was 19. We're only 3 years apart. You know that? Shia LaBeouf and I are closer in age too. He's a year older than I am. He's 39 right now. I'm 38. So, yeah. But yeah, and so that's a little distracting. And I want to say this before I continue. So a lot of these Disney Channel movies, or Disney Channel movies that are continuations of the TV show, even Nickelodeon ones, they do a thing where it's like, hey, we got a bigger budget. Let's take them away from the regular setting. When it's like, why can't you just give us a movie version of this? But I will say, out of all of those, this one has the most kind of connection to the show, in that even though they're on this island, there's an element, which we'll discuss yet, where it allows the rest of the recurring cast to also show up periodically, like Coach Tugnut and Larry Beale and Ruby and Monique and Twitty and Tawny and Tom. They're all involved with the plot. It connects to them. So out of all those ones that just say, let's just put them somewhere else, like, here's the Waverly Place. Let's put them in Tropical Paradise. Harper's in the movie for 5 minutes, and that's it. And no other characters are there, but here, a bunch of characters, right? There's a McGuire movie. All the main cast are in it, but you don't see many recurring. Well, I guess you got Kate and what's his name, Larry, that she has a crush on, but then it's Ethan. It's Ethan. But other than Lelaine, which who was her best friend. We'll talk about that because there's rumors going around. I don't know if it was true, but I don't know. But there is a lot of cast members here, you know, and other ones. I haven't seen the Sweet Life one yet, and I haven't seen. There's a lot of these ones that TV movies, even the Nickelodeon ones, like Kenan and Kel. We're gonna go on a road trip. Cousin Skeeter, we're going to space. The Sabrina movies. Her and Salem are the only returning characters from the show, and they go to Rome and Australia. And even though one of the actresses returned that are on the show return, the actress who played Valerie. She doesn't play Valerie in that one, she plays a mermaid. And Sabrina never notices that it looks just like her best friend. I don't think the ants even show up in those movies. Yeah, all those that take them away, they do that here, but yeah. The opening of this is actually, we see POV of someone on a computer going through a bunch of families, which we'll get to. So, Lewis's prank is he has this floating beach ball thing that he says is supposed to spray confetti. But Beans misheard what he said and instead it sprays out spaghetti, which Lewis kind of likes even better. He goes all over Tugnut and gets on everyone else a little bit, but yeah, and Renda's not so happy. Also, she gets stumped by her boyfriend Gil. Now, I have no idea, to this day, if he was even a character on the show, because I honestly don't remember him. Right? I don't remember him. I still remember the last show being about them moving away to Washington because the mom became a state senator. They mentioned that here. I guess they didn't actually move away. I don't remember. Hold on. The power of the internet, ladies and gentlemen. You can look it up. Hopefully. Come on. Even Stevens. This movie aired 11 days after the series finale. Here we go. Even Stevens. When it's reported that Eileen, not Irene, excuse me, want a seat at Congress, the Stevens can't go. There you go. The Stevens family prepares to move to Washington, D.C. Ren finds her best friends on who ran Stevens. Steve quits his job, and Lewis records a tape that he tells Tawny his true feelings for her. Tawny makes a tape as well. Plans change when the Stevens family finds out they are not leaving after a recount. Oh, okay. So she wanted to sit on Congress, but she was already a senator before. Okay. I'm assuming that there's clips involved with this as a finale, but then get the movie. I'm just gonna click the movie. Yeah. So after that, and after boyfriend breaks up with her, we get Lewis in his special chair that he's created, that he's gonna sit in all summer. A summer spent sitting on your butt. I'm with you, pal. Although, I guess he's got video games there you can play, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah. And, but Ren gets mad, because, honestly, this is the most forced thing in this movie. Honestly. So, first of all, I gotta mention, Beans. Their annoying neighbor, who showed up in season 2, I think, has been there ever since, he likes bacon. He makes that very clear. Ren takes a job babysitting him, but thought it was only for the day, but it turns out his parents went to Helsinki. It's in Finland. Get a globe. So he's staying with them for 2 weeks, 3 tops. And, yeah, that's important. But, so, after showing his friends his seat, his chair, like, oh, we gotta go, we got stuff to do, and he's like, hey, Tawny, you want to sit next to Papa? She's like, no, I gotta go, Papa. And I like Tom. He's like, I'll sit next to Papa. And then he's like, mosquitoes. So he needs mosquito netting. 1, mosquitoes only come out at night. 2, he uses pantyhose, and rain comes out like he did something terrible. She's all pissed at him for what? I think maybe she's venting her frustrations on losing her boyfriend Gil. I'm just saying. During this, though, Miles shows up, played by Timmy Meadows, and tells them they want an all-expense-paid trip to Mendolino because they want to export tourism to this place. They ask if there's a catch. And they're like, no, there's no catch. It's just a trip. We want to export tourism, is what they say. And even though Lewis is very much against this, they all agree to go. And, yeah. And then all hell breaks loose. They get there. They're welcomed by the guy from Bohemian Spoiler that goes, is the great chief. You gotta look up his name. He's the great chief. Down. Chief Tuca. Or I should also point out, because this is a plot point, when Lewis is watching TV on his little screen on his chair, he watches a prank show, hidden camera prank show called Gotcha, hosted by Dave Coulier, although he's Lance LeBeau on this show. In this movie, but Dave Coulier. That's how I do. Gotcha. So, yeah, that's important. It is. So they get there, and they introduce to the people the great Chief Cuckoo, or whatever his name, Tuca. Tuca? God damn! Why don't I remember anything, man? Tuca. Chief Tuca. And other island members, including Mutai, who I didn't realize till the credits was played by Josh Keaton, the voice of Spider-Man from Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm like, that's Josh Keaton? What? It helps that I have never actually really... Well, I've seen him, but now. Not what he looked like then. I see what he looked like now. It looks different. Of course, he's got big curly hair here. So, yeah. Also, he's the whitest islander I've ever seen. Sure, he's got a tan, but still. There's a point to that. But yeah, so they tell him, oh, you're going to stay in this palace. And Luke's like, I need a room with an ocean view. And then Ren's like, wait, how can we get there with the ocean view? Well, she yells at a statue or something. But they run in there and look around and stuff. And now it's time for the first meal, and they feed him slugs. But Miles tells Lewis of a secret stash that Chief Tuca has, and of American food. So he finds it, and he puts his foot up on what he thinks is a footstool, but it's a lever that destroys the entire palace. So this TGI palace gets destroyed. And if you're watching this for the first time, you're thinking, why did I have a switch for that? Why is there a switch that destroys the whole palace? It doesn't make any sense. And it makes you wonder, through all this, why these people never ask any fucking questions at all. Like, oh, I put my foot up on this thing, but I didn't know it was going to destroy the thing. And no one asks, why does the chief have a switch that destroys the house? No one asked that. No. So now they're told they have to leave. They're all upset. They're cursed now. Yeah. So while they're trying to build fire on the beach, Miles returns to talk to just Eileen, Lewis, and Donnie. Donnie, who recognizes one of the islanders as his name is Lelo. He says, "No, you're something Green, Patrick Green." He's like, "No, I am Lelo." Like he recognized it was someone he went to school with. So, by the way, they're saying that Donnie's gonna start college. Dude looks 30. How old is he actually supposed to be? Because I think what the timeline is that Donnie recently graduated high school. But if Ren looks too old for middle school, Donnie sure looks too old to be in high school. Dude looks at least 25. Maybe not 30, but looks 25. Actually, we can figure out exactly how old he was. Hold on. Sometimes I think I just leave this on, but then the glare from my glasses, Keon Joseph Young. It's just another minute. Nick Spano is 1976. I'll have to do math in a minute. He's 49 now. So 1976. We go to 86, 10. 96, 20. By 1996, he was already 20 years old. So then you go 21, 2, 3, 24. By the year 2000, he's 24. So 3 more years that he's 28 years old. That doesn't make any sense. 1976. That means right now he is 48. Well, did I do the math wrong? Hold on. From 86 to 96. What? No. 76 to 86, that's 10 years. He's 10. 86 to 96, that's 20 years. Then you go 97, 98, 99, 2000. So that's 23. It's 24. Because he's 20. This is 24. Right. Okay, then you go to 20. So he's 27? 20. Math is not mathing in my head, okay? I'm trying to think. He was born in 1976. Born in 1976. So 10 years, 86. He 10 in 1986. 20 in 1996. 4 more years, he's 24. 3 more years, he's 27. But it says he's 49 right now. Which doesn't make any sense. Wikipedia's got to be wrong. Because there's 3 years. So he'd be 26, not 27. Why is it... Okay. From 1976 to 1996, that's 20 years. He's 20. I'm doing this math. He's 20. And then you go from 97, 98, 99, and 2000. That's 24. Right? 25, 26, 27. 27. The math ain't working. It should be 26. Whatever. I'm done. But he was 26 at this point. Turn off the TV. Where the hell even were we? So, Miles comes up to the 3, Eileen, Lewis, and Donnie, and says, the Trifelders want to meet with you and possibly they want to give you a big feast and they possibly try to forgive you. Eileen wants to tell the other three, but he's like, no. They have a rule of 3. You can only do apologies to 3 people. So those 3 go, they have a feast. And while I think this is where Donnie runs into the guy, the Lalo, but also then Mutai shows up and is talking to Ren and says, "Oh, your mom and your brothers are at this feast right now, trying to get forgiveness." She's like, "Really?" And she sees them eating. But it turns out they're the great god Oprah. It's a coincidence. Does not forgive them, and they get shunned and sent away. But Ren has already told the other 2 about what has happened. And they're all mad now because they got a feast and they didn't. And then it starts to rain. And then this whole movie gets flipped on its head. Because it turns out they're not on some dream vacation. No. They are on a reality show called Family Fake Out. That's right. And none of this is legal because in order to be on a show like this, they'd have to sign a contract. I'm sure they didn't sign shit. Right? I'm just saying. And then everyone at home has been watching this. And then I start to get confused. Because this show is a live broadcasted daily show. That seems to be like, not 24 hours, but like it's like a nighttime edition, primetime edition. There's a day edition. It's confusing. What reality show is broadcasted live? I don't even think stuff like The Bachelor or anything is live. Survivor's not live. What reality show is broadcast live? We also find out that it's Twitty's fault because he suggested them and gave them all their weaknesses, which is how they know all their problems. Yeah. And they use that too. Steve not having a job right now because he quit the law firm because they thought they were going to move. So he doesn't have a job right now, which actually, in a TV world, all he would have to do is go back to his law firm and say, well, my wife can get the job and he get his job back. But they're using that for this. And, yeah. So Miles then starts poking and prodding and messing with them. He shows up and he says that there's that they're going to drop a care package for them with food. But it gets dropped in the wrong place. So the 3 of them that didn't get food the night before go to run off. Steve, Ren, and Beans. While Miles then shows up with the other 3 and tells them what's going on. Now he tells the first 3 to use the red markers and tells the other 3 to use the blue markers. By now you already know what's going on, but yeah, something is going on. Everyone's watching things. And during this though, Twitty and Tawny find out that actually they're not on some tropical island called Mandalino. They're in some island just off the coast. By the way, they're in California. They live in California. That's right. I remember now. And, Catalona. Nearby island called Catalona. So they use Tom's boat, because he has a boat, to get there. But Tom, for some reason, doesn't want to go close to the island, so he has them use life preservers over to go there, and they get separated, and Tawny hits her head, which makes her temporarily forget stuff. And as soon as Twitty gets there, he gets captured by security people. Miles, of course, recognizes him, and they say, crate him or something like that, but it put him in the costume trailer, which he's never get a costume and sneak out and eat some food. I do like when they mess with Donnie, because they're like, oh, Lalo, the guy, Patrick, he recognized you, you're fired. No, wait. we've been told that Donnie's not so bright. You're rehired. So he comes in full Letterman jacket and pretends to be himself and messed with Donnie. He's like, guys, I told you that guy I said was Patrick Green. It is Patrick Green. He was cutting English. They're like, what? And again, there's no question to this. They don't question Donnie the first time. Like you don't see. And then there's other things like when they start arguing about who ate the food. Neither one of the groups ever stopped to question any of this. Like one side is saying that the other side ate the food. The other side is saying that side ate the food. Nobody stops to think, wait, we're both accusing the people who ate the food. Then who ate the food? Because it's has to keep going on and on and on. While Ren gets closer to Mutai, kind of rushing through, Tawny washes up and doesn't remember stuff, but she bumps into Donnie, who's like, you know what? I'm taking you this time, so it's proof. And meanwhile, Twitty disassembles the wires so that there's no broadcast. This is just as Mutai has been instructed to. So Mutai and Ren have sort of started being falling in love type thing, and he realizes this guilt, stops using his accent, and tries to tell her the truth. But they send Chief Tuka in, and it's like, I do like this part where he's like, it's all your brother's fault. Lewis's fault. Why? That is a good question. Just tell him that he told you. He told us about your secret meetings with Mortai. By the way, Mutai doesn't yell out, it's a whole game show, blah, 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 blah. The Dragon White, no. They must have his mouth covered or something. So at this point, Lewis finds a peanut in his pants pocket, and he's going to share it with the three, but he drops it, and a squirrel grabs it. This being the real squirrel, not the fake squirrel from earlier in the film that was used. Why am I turned that way? I don't know. Sorry. I started talking to over there for some reason. What's over there? Nothing! My living room. That's it. What is that line? See it? What am I? Oh, that's the fucking wall. That's the TV I'm seeing. What a lay. Jesus. What is that line? So anyway, what happened? So he chases after the squirrel. And then so Donnie shows up with Tawny, and Tawny remembers what's going on, tells them they're all on a game show called Family Fake Out. A reality show called Family Fake Out. So they're like, then Twitty shows up after they tackle him, and he's like, well, the last thing I saw was Beans was smelling a beetle. Oh, I gotta tell you about my favorite parts of this movie. It's when they wake up one of the next mornings, and they're sleeping, and Beans farts, and Lewis's response, mother of pearl, Beans, mother of pearl. Sorry, I get gassy in the morning. Cinema. The exact more Scorsese from Absolute Cinema. And yeah, that's right there. Anyway, this was almost before the thing shut down. Then we get into unbelievable territory. So Miles is able to get the feedback up. And we see that Ren is caught up to Lewis. She has him with a spear. And she's lost her mind as she's chasing him down. And they slowly start to realize, hey, if something actually seriously happens to one of these people, we could get sued. So Miles takes he takes a Jeep out, which that would also be a question if they didn't know. He'd be showing up in a Jeep and it's like, hey, wait, no. The elders have decided to forgive you. And he's like, it's too late for that. He ruined it. He's like, Ren. And The rest of the family shows up, and he's like, okay, now's a great time to tell you, you're all on a new reality show called Family Fake Out. And she's like, oh yeah, nice try, Miles, but nothing is going to stop me. And the parents are like, no, it's true, honey. We were trying to find you to tell you. And then she's like, no, spears him off the cliff. Everyone going, ah! And because the people don't watch it too, the coach, ah! Larry, I think, is the only one. It's like, yes! It's funny. But then they start laughing. And a helicopter, conveniently that you couldn't hear before it shows up into view. Yeah, it's one of those stealth helicopters where you don't hear it until it's right there. You know, those kind. With Dave Coulier in it, and remember the kid, Lance LeBeau. He's like, I just want to say, gotcha on your own show. He's like, what? Huh? What about Lewis? And Lewis was caught in a net, and he's hanging off a ladder because Tawny and Twitty were down there, caught him. Turns out, and I don't understand the time frame here. Turns out that they were able to find Lewis and Ren and Lewis, and tell them what was going on. And were able to organize the gotcha thing within a couple hours. It didn't feel like the whole thing was down for 2 hours. You're telling me that all those people stayed in the diner waiting for 2 hours for the show to come back on? That makes no sense. Everyone was waiting at the TV watching that bunny thing for 2 hours? That doesn't make any sense to me. That bunny thing was going on for 2 hours? She's just putting the bunny ears on before it cuts back. No, there's no way that was 2 hours. There's no way. Anyway, it's all the trick. It's all the game. Gotcha. I do like the line where he's like, you know what? I should be getting back. Why? Your career's over. True. And he's like, you know what? Why don't we get that girl with the bunny back up? Or you can switch the channel and watch Gotcha. So they did it, and yeah. So Ren and Lewis have a moment. What does he do here? He's talking to her, and she's like, yeah, but I wanted to find someone. He's like, what about Jason? She's like, who's Jason? Jason? No, Jason! And it's Mutai. And he's like, hey, and he flips over. Where does he go? Is he on a ledge or something? Because he flips over this log and then he's just gone. Is he on a ledge or something? I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand what. To this day, 22 years later, I still don't understand where he went. He's just gone. So they say they're going to try to work it out. And they get ready to go. The parents are off gallivanting somewhere else. I think they were enjoying paradise, if you know what I mean. And they've forgiven Twitty. And he gets sit next to Beans, though. So I'm feeling a little gathy. But yeah, and then we get Beans narrating what happened. Steve got a new job. Donnie went to college. Ren's getting ready for high school, and she starts dating Jason Mutai. And it looks as if Lewis is going to have Tawny as well, because she sort of gives in. The conclusion to the will they won't they thing, I guess that was kind of in the last episode. There was a whole thing, they had tapes for each other that was supposed to show their feelings. But then here, she's like, he's like, you come sit next to Daddy? And she's like, sit next to Papa. Okay. What happened to Tom? Did he just dump them off and say, okay, peace out, and leave? You think he would have waited for them to swim back or something? But no, that's it. He left, I guess. And Beans is still messing with the family, so there's that. It's not really a conclusion, but I think it works. And I've always really liked this. I like it. I love the show. I watch the show constantly. One last thing I want to look up. I want the episode count. How many episodes there were? Because I want to look at this. Even Stevens. Didn't say. 65! Of course it's only 65 episodes. Of course. But, 65 episodes in a movie, I guess. There it is. And I'll give it a pretty good. I like this. I like it. I really do. So, what are your thoughts on the Even Stevens movie? In the comments, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.